Greetings, friends and family members, parishioners. Just wanted to offer a reflection on this Sunday's Gospel for the Fifth Sunday of Lent. We have a beautiful Gospel, a powerful Gospel, but I think a rather challenging Gospel for us to hear on this Sunday as we're in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic and as we're in the midst of being in all kinds of different ways kind of separated to some degree from family members and friends, separated from the sacraments, maybe feeling, the seeming distance of God as we face these challenges. So it's, again, a powerful gospel, but a challenging one to hear. I'd like to read for you here, not the whole gospel, but a few words from the beginning, and then just try to listen to them with you and apply them to our current circumstances. Right at the beginning of this long gospel from John chapter 11, we hear these words. Now a man was ill, Lazarus from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. Mary was the one who had anointed the Lord with perfumed oil and dried his feet with her hair. It was her brother Lazarus who was ill. It's apparent that Jesus has a long-standing relationship and friendship with this family, with these siblings. This is not an encounter with a stranger along the road, but this is something really connected to the circle of people with whom Jesus spent time. And the passage continues. So the sisters sent word to him saying, "Master, the one you love is ill." When Jesus heard this, he said, "This illness is not to end in death, but is for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified through it." Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So when he heard that he was ill, he remained for 2 days in the place where he was. This is a very strange moment in the passage. Certain aspects here seem intuitive enough. When Martha and Mary find that their brother is very ill, they reach out to Jesus, who they are close to, and they ask for him to come. They, it seems, are likely to have either experienced directly or to have heard about Jesus' other healings, his signs of power, his ability to rebuke even a stormy sea and cause it to be still. And so it's not at all strange that they would reach out to him. It is perhaps not strange to hear Jesus say that God is in control. He says, this illness is not to end in death, but for the glory of God. We know Jesus speaks in many places of God's kind of ultimate power and his goodness, his mercy. But we're told something that seems almost nonsensical. Jesus' love for Martha and her sister and Lazarus is affirmed, and then we're told, so when he heard that he was ill, he remained for 2 days in the place where he was. Why would Jesus wait? Why would he postpone? There's no objective situation, it seems, that he's facing. He's not occupied with attending to his mission or to some other person in need. We're simply told that he loved them and that he delayed. Even that they're connected. He loved them, so when he heard that he was ill, he remained for 2 days in the place where he was. Brothers and sisters, I would propose to you that this is the place where, in some ways, we seem to be. Where we're facing the known and the unknown, right? We're facing the real tragedies that have already occurred, the real losses and sadness, the real suffering. And then I think something that for many of us is a source of even greater fear, we face the unknown. How will this affect me personally? How will this affect my loved ones? How will this affect my job? How will this affect my community, the school system, my business? All of these questions. And of course, we aren't going to be able to know the answer except by living through this together, really by walking forward one day at a time. But yet, as we face these uncertainties and as we cry out to God, it seems to us, oftentimes, that the Lord has delayed, that the Lord is slow to respond, that we don't see or experience the Lord's response. And it seems that we see something like that mysteriously in this gospel. He loved them, and so when he heard that he was ill, Lazarus was ill, Jesus remained for 2 days in the place where he was. Now, in the case of Lazarus, we know the rest of the story. Jesus arrived. He spoke words of great tenderness. He invited Martha and Mary to believe. And then when he came to the tomb, he called Lazarus forth from death, called Lazarus to life. He responded to a difficult situation, not only with his own heartfelt tears and presence, but with his own power even over death itself. Um, Brothers and sisters, we're invited in the face of all that we face right now to this faith that Jesus Christ has the power to overcome death, that he has the power to overcome all of the challenges, all the losses we face. Jesus deploys that power. He exercises his love in ways that are often difficult for us to understand, his timing, his methods, the way that he responds to our cries, our heartfelt cries for his healing, are not always what we expect. But we're invited to trust that he who experienced death, he who conquered death, has the power to overcome, and that he is at this very moment laboring to love us, and in ways that I think certainly in the moment, and even perhaps from a distance, perhaps down the road, will always be challenging for us. We're invited to trust that if the Lord seems to delay, if the Lord seems to be quiet in the face of our pleas, that is a seeming, that he is in fact at work, that he's offering us grace and conversion, he's offering us healing, transformation, that he's offering us graces that will bring us through this, not only in one piece, but transformed, renewed and healed with a deeper capacity to love. And perhaps the boldest claim we make is that this is true even in the face of death, that should we ourselves face physical death, should we ourselves lose the people we love to mortal death, that even then we do not give up, even then we do not despair, but we trust that Christ has gone ahead of us to open for us a kingdom, many places, many rooms, a place of peace and joy. And so whether the path forward leads through difficulty or struggle or even death, in all these things we believe the Lord is with us, always with his power. Brothers and sisters, I would just say to you, I recognize that it's easy for me to say these true things. It's not hard to say them looking into the lens of my smartphone, but I believe they're true, and I invite you to renew that faith in the Lord. And we can pray always, especially when we're most daunted by circumstances or difficulty. We can pray that beautiful scriptural prayer from another passage where we say, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. May we open our hearts to the Lord's grace. May he strengthen our faith. May we know his power at work in our lives.